mothers are weeping as they can't provide even a handful of food to their young ones.
Since I delivered her, she has been small and she doesn't grow up. Her condition gets worse in the hospital, and every time I go home, I find her becoming more and more weak. She has no nerves. Her nerves are weak and she doesn't sit properly.
Let our voices be heard by the whole world. How are children dying? I'm also on the verge of death. I can hardly speak from the exhaustion of searching through the markets, and I haven't been able to find even a kilo of lentils, pasta, or anything at all.
Aid distribution has become a cruel lottery. Palestinians fight panic and stampede in pursuit of a single bag of flour or bowl of soup.
The situation is very dangerous. There are bombs everywhere. Targets are everywhere. Death and destruction. Entire neighborhoods wiped out. People were wiped off the civil registry.
Only a few aid trucks a day enter Gaza, far below the 600 needed. The situation is rapidly deteriorating. Yet hundreds of trucks laden with food and medicine stand idle outside Gaza's crossings, waiting unused as hunger becomes deadly, claiming over 100 lives in the last few days.
The horrific situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate, with Israeli military operations and hostilities expanding throughout the Strip and the human toll mounting by the hour. This nightmare of historic proportions must end immediately.
Amidst the rising chorus of global condemnation, Israel maintains that Hamas alone is responsible for the crisis, asserting that the militant group has diverted aid and engineered the conditions of suffering. There are protests around the world. Calls for allowing more aid into Gaza are rising. Calls for allowing more aid into Gaza are rising. From New York to London, from Lebanon to Beirut, people are coming out onto the streets, pleading for Gaza. In Israel too, protesters are pressing the government to allow food to reach the hungry people.
We call it the Flour March. In Gaza, there's no flour, there's no food for many, many days, and that the population reached stage 5 of hunger.
We're here to cry out that the starvation in Gaza just has to end. It has to end right now. People are dying on the streets in Gaza from not having enough food and not having enough water, and this needs to end now. Israel has to give as much aid and medical supplies as possible right now.
Hundreds of people have been killed trying to get food handed out at sites Palestinians describe as death traps. Gaza has never been hungrier, despite several warnings about impending famine over the course of nearly 2 years of war. Gaza is no longer just a war zone. It is hell on earth, where starvation is a weapon and silence a sentence.
Rockets in the sky and ships on fire in the sea. Israel's remaining Red Sea port might be shutting down soon. Nobody could stop the Houthis. They have turned the Red Sea waters into a war zone, and they will not stop until Israel stops its siege on Gaza. This is what they say. Iran's ally is about to score a strategic point with this closure. Listen in.
Key Red Sea, once a highway for global trade, is now a battlefield. Since October, Iran-backed Houthi fighters have unleashed a barrage of drone and missile attacks, over 145 strikes on commercial vessels, and Israel's southern city of Eilat has become a direct target. This month, the Houthis sunk 2 Liberian-flagged ships. At least 4 crew members killed, others still missing. Not just this, Houthis have launched 63 missiles on Israel since March.
Our Yemeni position is firm and decisive, and our decision to prevent navigation for the Israeli enemy in the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, and Arabian Sea is permanent as long as the Israeli enemy continues the aggression and siege on Gaza.
These ballistic missiles fly over 2,000 kilometers to hit Israel, though mostly all of these missiles are intercepted by Israel before they could cause any damage. The message from Yemen's militants couldn't be clearer. As long as the war in Gaza continues, no ship is safe. At Israel's only Red Sea port, the consequences are devastating. The port of Eilat, once a vital trade link to Asia, now operates at just 10% capacity. No traffic, no cargo, just rising losses. The ripple effects are global. Nearly 15% of world trade once passed through the Suez Canal, which connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. Now, shipping giants are rerouting around Africa, adding weeks in delays and millions in costs. Even livestock ships carrying thousands of animals have been stranded in limbo. And while Eilat suffers from silence, Israel's northern port of Haifa has seen direct fire. An Iranian strike in June injured over 30 people. For Israel, its ports are no longer just trade hubs, they're targets. But Israel is not sitting silently. Israeli Air Force drones struck Yemen's Houthi-controlled Hodeidah port, marking its latest strike on the country. Eilat is still open for now, but after 19 months of losses nearly $1 million each month, it's reaching its breaking point.
Behind Iran is a big ally, a very big rival to the United States, China. China might have discovered a flaw in the American bunkerbuster bombs, one that could help Iran resist. We tell you more.
For years, the bunker bomb has represented the apex of aerial demolition, its sheer kinetic force and delayed fuse capabilities designed to pulverize even the most fortified underground complexes. On June 22nd, the world watched these huge bombs in action. The US strikes on 22nd June hit 3 Iranian nuclear enrichment sites: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Years of Iranian engineering were shattered in seconds. There was massive damage to the nuclear facilities. President Trump hailed the raid as a spectacular military success. Now he is issuing a blunt warning: we will do it again if necessary. Now, Chinese military researchers have revealed a critical vulnerability in these bunker busters, potentially rewriting the calculus of the next round of strikes. The nose of each bomb is an armor-plated spear, but its sides are protected by mere centimeters of steel, thin, exposed, and susceptible to the right kind of firepower. Using advanced simulations, Chinese scientists demonstrated that a hail of shells fired from strategic distances and angles could crack a GBU-57 open in mid-flight. For Iran, currently counting its losses and vowing to rebuild, the implications are immediate. The lesson is clear: with technical ingenuity and better prepared air defense, the days of helplessly watching bombs carve into bedrock may be numbered.
Now let's go to the Islamic Republic of Iran, recently emerging from a war. But did the war really end? In the recent, there have been fire after fire, explosion after explosion. They are too frequent and too targeted to be called accidents, regardless of what the state is saying. They are blaming old gas lines. But Can it be Israel? Can it be an inside job? Can it be that the war still didn't end? This report explains.
Fires and explosions are rattling Iran for more than 2 weeks now. From oil facilities to locations near airports, residential buildings to factories and even universities, the blazes are striking in unsettling rhythm. In public, Iranian officials are blaming aging infrastructure and gas leaks, but behind closed doors, a different picture is emerging. According to reports, sources within Iran's security apparatus, including the powerful Revolutionary Guards, suspect something more sinister: sabotage. And they're pointing at their arch-enemy, Israel. Strategic sites like oil refineries, military housing have gone up in flames in key cities like Tehran, Qom, Isfahan, and Mashhad. The timing is hard to ignore. Just weeks ago, Iran and Israel were locked in direct conflict in a 12-day war that left Iran's military infrastructure damaged and its air defenses weakened and killed over 1,000 people. The result is daily explosions that aren't just wrecking buildings, they're fueling a deepening public fear. The government has also issued a warning, emphasizing coordinated efforts by foreign spy services to recruit Iranians through mobile applications and digital ads. But with no clear explanations and no end in sight, Iranians are beginning to wonder if the war ever really ended. A shadow battle may be playing out not in missile strikes this time, but through explosions that arrive without warning and without claim. As the suspense builds, Iran remains in a state of uneasy calm, a ceasefire in name but not necessarily in practice.
A very fragile ceasefire is holding in Syria's Sweda. The clashes have stopped for a while, but nobody knows if they will be resumed. Will Syria's interim government be able to resolve the sectarian violence between the Druze and the Bedouins? Or will it become another episode soon? We tell you.
The gunfire may have gone silent in Sweda, but Syria is once again teetering on the edge. What started as street-level clashes between local Druze fighters and Sunni Bedouin communities has exploded into something far more dangerous. A sectarian conflict that could unravel what little stability remains in post-Assad Syria. A ceasefire is holding, but only just.
Thank God we've paid a heavy price and suffered great losses. We all sacrifice for the next generation and for the blood of the mountain. May God heal the wounded and have mercy on the martyrs.
Syria's interim government is struggling to hold the peace, and at the heart of that struggle is a familiar problem. Deep-rooted sectarian fault lines, long exploited by the Assad regime, now boiling over. Over the weekend, the Syrian government escorted more than 1,500 Sunni Bedouins out of Sweda. Precaution, state media claims, to prevent further bloodshed. But for many in Syria, this looks and feels like ethnic cleansing, a painful echo of past traumas. The death toll from the Sweda violence has crossed 600, and that's according to rights monitors. Some say the real number may be twice as high.
You'll find those people seeing us like this and leaving us for what? They didn't leave us anything. They don't want a single Muslim in Sweden. It's an announced ethnic cleansing.
And this is not the first flashpoint. Just months ago, deadly violence erupted between Alawites and other communities. Another 1,400 people killed, according to a fact-finding machine. Interim leader Ahmed al-Shara, once hailed as the man who liberated Syria from Assad, now perhaps finds himself struggling to unite a deeply fractured nation. Trust in his leadership is waning, not least because his failure to control the very militias that back him. And the threat is not just internal. From Iran-backed networks to drug cartels, even foreign powers have a stake in Syria's future. The US and Gulf states still back al-Shara, hoping he can deliver stability. But that support comes with pressure, and time is running out to turn this fragile peace into something more permanent. Because in today's Syria, peace is not just about stopping the fighting, it's about reconciling histories and preventing the past from repeating itself.
That's all we have for you in this episode of the West Asia Post. I will see you next week with a brand new lineup, always bringing you the most recent updates, news and ground reports from the world's most volatile region. I'm your host, Radi Francis, signing off from Lebanon. For more global news, keep on watching WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and natural